What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and I didn't have one specific topic to talk to you guys about this week, so I threw a bunch together, and it's been a while, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clusterfuck. Here's a couple things I have to talk about, and I will say right here and now, the very last topic I have on this list is not about wrestling, it's more about the wrestling community, and it is highly controversial and may offend some people. So if you don't, when I get to my last point, if you don't want to watch anymore, you don't want to listen anymore, you don't want to partake, so to speak, I will understand 100%, but I thought I would give that disclaimer before I even get going. A couple things I want to talk about in wrestling, nothing major, but a couple key points that, you know, little things that you couldn't make into a whole video, but I wanted to mention. Apparently Renee Young is now the permanent commentator, the permanent color commentator on Superstars, which is not such a big deal. We don't even get it in Canada, whatever. But the rumor is down the line they're planning to integrate her either onto Raw or SmackDown, which I think is incredible on a number of levels. On a personal level, she's from Toronto. She's, you know, my hometown girl. I also used to watch her, the Score, which is now Sportsnet 360, which is the channel that shows WWE in Canada. Used to have, or I think still does have, a really cool sort of WWE after show called Aftermath, and Renee Young, when she was known as Renee Paquette, used to be a big part of that show. So I've seen her on camera a lot. When she moved to WWE, I was kind of excited in my own little hometown nerdy kind of way. The other part of it being, obviously, the big glaring thing is, oh my god, she's going to be the first full-time female commentator on Raw or SmackDown, which is a big feather in her cap, but I don't think it should be as focused on as it is as far as her gender goes. I think what should be focused on is she's done amazing things on NXT. If I can torrent some Superstars, I'm pretty sure she's doing great there too. And she has a lot of energy and a different perspective and all those types of things that if you bring them to Raw or SmackDown and join her up with the old farts, could make the show a lot better. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to think about where that is going / might go, and it could, you know, I don't want to use a cliche, but breathe new life into the show from a commentary perspective. So that's all good. So as far as it means coming from me, big congratulations to Renee Paquette / Renee Young. We're getting a lot of new stars coming up through the developmental territories that a lot of people seem to know a lot about. I don't, but the big three names that I've heard kicked around a lot are Kevin Steen, who I finally got a chance to see at ROH Best in the World, which is my first ROH pay-per-view. I liked what I saw. I think the guy's fantastic, and I think I said so a little while ago in one of my Q&As. Big guy, big athletic guy, can sell and all that sort of thing. I've had a chance to see him a little bit, so I have a little bit of context as far as being excited or not that Kevin Steen is coming to the WWE. Kenta, which is apparently a super big deal, he signed his WWE contract at a live event in Japan with Hulk Hogan overseeing the whole thing, and there was a big hoopla to do about Kenta, who I've never seen. I came onto Facebook into the three groups that I am most likely a part of, the Wrestling Realm, Puitov, and the Breakers. And I kind of said, hey guys, you know, I'm admitting a little bit of my ignorance here. I don't watch a lot of things outside of WWE. What's the big deal about this guy, Kenta? And I got a whole bunch of things. He's like, you know, he's a big, you know, superstar, respected guy out of Japan and all that. And then somebody came along and said, yeah, you know, he created the GTS and the running knee, so he invented the moves for the top two guys in WWE right now. One being CM Punk, who's no longer there, and one being Daniel Bryan, who's not there at the moment because he's got a slinky for a neck, but he created their finishing moves. So you know what? If nothing else, he'll add a little bit more diversity to the roster. And from what I've heard, and this is again admitting that I'm only going on hearsay, he's a pretty phenomenal talent in the ring, so good for him. Can't wait to see him. The other one is Prince Devitt, who has a couple of other names that I can't remember at the moment, who I've never seen, and people are again raving about, sort of in that he said, she said, he said, she said kind of way. But I've seen the pictures of this guy and all the, like, the body paint that he's done. He's dressed up like Venom and different Marvel characters and all that sort of thing. Now that's an interesting thing. That's something that will make people stand up and take notice for sure. I mean, obviously the people that have seen him wrestle will be excited that they get to see him wrestle. But the painted up, the gimmicks and whatnot that he does, if he keeps doing that, will be a great way to get him noticed in the WWE. It'll grab people's attention to hopefully then see what he can do in the ring. So lots of exciting stuff. Lots of people coming in with a lot of fanfare. I have not given up my my new guy theory, though. While I'm excited to see what all these guys can do, I have not given up my new guy theory. Pretty much being that you can come to NXT, and when you get to NXT, it's your day one. And guess what? I take that theory one step farther. When you go from NXT to WWE, you have your first match on Raw. You are at your day one again. So whatever you've done in Japan, whatever you've done in the UK, whatever you've done in ROH or other like smaller companies in the States, when you get to the day, and I hope these guys all do. From what I've heard, they're all great, and I wish them all the best in the world, and if they can come and jazz up the product, great. Year from now, 6 months from now, whatever, when you have your first match on Raw, I'm still saying that's your day one. That's the day that I'm going to look at you and be like, okay, you've made it. Now show me what you can do. But, as I say, lots and lots of exciting... Okay. Talking too fast when you have almost no voice to begin with. Not advisable. Learn from your buddy, your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. Can't wait to see all them. I want to talk about 2 tag teams that are developing in the WWE right now. The one is the reformation of Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel on NXT, which I think is fantastic. A lot of people are thinking, oh, they must not have anything for these guys if they're just going to go back to what they know used to work. I don't really think that's the case. I mean, we've built quite a story here with Tyson Kidd not being able to get it done against Adrian Neville, Tyson Kidd being forced into a tag team scenario with Sami Zayn and bailing on him, so Tyson Kidd kind of having 2 rivalries at once, and then Justin Gabriel legit getting a title shot and not being successful, I said Justin Gabriel, didn't I? Justin Gabriel not being successful in his title defense either, and Tyson Kidd, who's bubbling over with like aggression and angst and all that kind of frustration and negative energy, now inflicting that back onto Justin Gabriel. To see these guys form together once again in this great look, and we've only seen them in 1 match so far, but if they keep going with this great looking, great feeling, great presented heel tag team from the 2 of these guys, this could be the thing that gets them back onto Raw or SmackDown and gets them into the title picture. I mean, if the if the Wyatts don't get the title at Battleground, which I'm going to talk about in a second, I could see a great number of matches happening between the Usos and Kidd and Gabriel in this current pissed off, underappreciated heel tag team form. I mean, also, like, what we're seeing right now with the 2 of these guys is these guys are kind of established in the WWE already, and they are the perfect foils for guys like Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville to get noticed. I mean, Adrian Neville's already the champion, but when you've got somebody as established as a Tyson Kidd or a Justin Gabriel, who may be low on the totem pole, but people know who they are, and they're getting constant, and somebody like Adrian Neville or Sami Zayn to be getting constant victories over these guys in singles scenarios, they're doing a great gift to NXT. Now, do I want to see these guys on NXT? Ultimately, no. Ultimately, I would love to see them get their success on the main stage, be recognized for the great wrestlers that they are on the main stage. But if they are not doing that, for them to, as I say, provide this gift that they are providing to NXT and giving these new guys a chance to shine against them, I think it's a great use for them. I don't think the Tyson Kidd, Natalya Neidhart marital discord background storyline is entirely necessary, but again, I think that's sort of put in there to plug Total Divas, which I haven't watched since season 1, so I guess we kind of have to take that as it goes. Now, on SmackDown, we saw the new team of Slater and the Gator. Fuck me. Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil are apparently now a tag team, and apparently in house shows they are also joined by Hornswoggle, so apparently this is the new 3MB. My head hurts a lot. So you take 3MB, you fire the 2 talented guys from 3MB, being Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre. Side note, if anybody doesn't listen to the Chris Jericho podcast, Talk is Jericho, go back, subscribe to it, first of all, because it's a great podcast. Second of all, go back to his interview with the recently dismissed Drew McIntyre. It's a great interview. But you take the 2 talented guys from 3MB and you fire them. You keep Heath Slater because his persona kind of carried the 3MB gimmick, so I guess it's a fun character to play with. You break up the primetime players, keep Darren Young, who's like ridiculously talented, off TV, and keep us with Titus O'Neil because he's big. And then you put them together, Then you put them with a midget. I don't know, guys. They're on SmackDown, and Kid and Gabriel are on NXT. You figure it out. Now we have Battleground coming up in, what is it, like 9 days or whatever. And people are going to say I'm exaggerating. People are going to say I'm hyping the product too much or whatever. Battleground, from the looks of it right now, has the potential to be my favorite pay-per-view of the year so far. I don't give a shit about the title match. I mean, it is what it is. Unless Roman Reigns wins, which I don't think he's going to, hence I don't give a shit. But the rest of the card, you got Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho, which is going to be great. It's going to give us great microphone work between the two of them, and in the ring, these guys are fantastic. When Bray Wyatt was on NXT, he had a match with Chris Jericho. I've seen it a bunch of times. It's quite good, and on a pay-per-view stage, this will be fantastic. You have the Wyatts versus the Usos. This will be... If it's not, then WWE's totally dropped the ball. This will be the night that the Wyatts become the tag team champions. 2 out of 3 falls tag team championship match. The Wyatts are bigger, they're stronger, they're massive. They can throw the Usos around like the ragdolls that they are. No offense to the Usos. And 2 out of 3 falls should wear the Usos down to nothing. And that's how, with the way the Wyatts fight, it makes sense that they would win the tag team championships that way. If they win it here, where it makes more sense, I can forgive them not winning it at Money in the Bank and not winning it at the house show that I was about a week ago. We are getting Rollins versus Ambrose, and yes, I agree, this is happening way too early. They could stretch this out a lot more if they wanted to, but we're getting it. Rollins versus Ambrose, I don't even have to say anything. This is going to be fantastic. The fact that they've taken Roman Reigns out of the Shield scenario and let the residual anger, residual betrayal anger, whatever, fester just between these two is a phenomenal thing. Now for this match, I want the Authority to fuck off. For this match, I don't need a run-in from Kane. I don't need Triple H, you know, sitting on the ramp waving his sledgehammer, whatever. This match needs to be what it is. I don't think there's been any mention of Rollins' case being on the line. So there's you won't hurt the story by giving Dean Ambrose the win, because Seth Rollins, being the heel, carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase, which should be a heel tool. I mean, let's be real. Side note for a second. I've had this discussion many times, and I had it again recently. There's 2 ways that you can guarantee yourself a title shot later down the line. There is the Royal Rumble, and there's Money in the Bank. The Royal Rumble is somebody working really hard, plowing through 30 or 40, depending on the year, guys, surviving until the end, and then winning a straight-up one-on-one match between people at WrestleMania. I mean, unless you're Daniel Bryan and you just squeak in because people like you and you're popular and you're the underdog. But normally that's how it is. You work your way through the Rumble, you survive until WrestleMania, you have your one-on-one match with the champion, you become the champion. That's a great babyface story to tell. Money in the Bank is made for heels. It really is. Because you capitalize on one instance in one match, in one scenario. You have this briefcase that gives you all the power. And 9 times out of 10 you get the opportunity to sneak up on your opponent anytime you want. That is very, very heely stuff. So, as much as I think down the line Ambrose should be a champion, there's no reason he needs to win the briefcase from Rollins. So leave the case out of it, leave the Authority out of it, leave Roman Reigns out of it, and John Cena, who I'm sure will try to capitalize on all this popularity, leave him out of it. Please don't make this another, okay, look, they're picking on Dean Ambrose like they picked on Daniel Bryan, just so that we remembered that Daniel Bryan is still a thing. Everybody else fuck off. Let these guys have the great match that they're going to have. It's going to be fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Paige versus AJ. Again, I will agree. This could have been stretched out. They could have done this like pretending to be a team thing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then one could turn on the other, and there's your match. We're getting it a bit early. They're jumping the shark. They're pulling the trigger way too soon on the match. Both of these matches. But I'm not going to say, no, please don't show me AJ versus Paige. Fuck off. This is going to be a great match as well. As soon as AJ came back, everybody turned on Paige. I think that's fucking hysterical. I'm a big fan of AJ, have been since she came in. I'm a big fan of Paige. I have been since I started religiously watching NXT. I am not pulling for either girl in this match. I'm literally, and I think I've said this before in a video too, so you guys can correct me down in the bottom if I'm being repetitive. I'm not a fan of either girl in this match. I'm a fan of the match happening, and that's a cool thing to have. If you remember way back to WrestleMania 10 in the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, one of the shots you see constantly during that match is a guy and he's holding up a sign, and he's not holding up a Razor Ramon sign, he's not holding up a Shawn Michaels sign, he's holding up a sign with a ladder on it that just says potential match of the year or something along those lines. When you get a match that people are looking forward to that so much that they're actually a fan of the match, it's a special thing. It's like the Ambrose Rollins thing. I'm not pulling for one or the other. It won't hurt Rollins if Ambrose wins. It won't hurt Ambrose a lot if Rollins wins, because he'll get babyface sympathy and we'll go forward from there. But I'm looking forward to the matches for the sake of the matches, and it's going to be great. The Intercontinental Championship Battleground Battle Royal, which is kind of redundant, I guess. They could do any number of things with these. Like I've said before, a Battle Royal doesn't just write a story for the winner. You can have anything happen in the midst of the Battle Royal that could start a feud between somebody and somebody and somebody. Now, the way they're building this up and the way that they're positioning people, you know, or at least you have a very good thought in your head that Cesaro is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. They've got Sheamus in there bragging about how he's going to be a dual champion, and I'm hoping that he's bragged too much for it to actually happen, because no. If they don't go the obvious route with this and give the belt to Cesaro, which I think will be great and give Heyman a lot to talk about, three other guys that I could see carrying the belt, great going forward. We could make this the Summer of Bo. And, you know, he's 14 and Bo as of this past SmackDown, and he could be the champion, and he can come out the next night. I became the champion at Battleground. You know what I did to become the champion at Battleground? All I had to do was Bo leave. It would be great. Ziggler. Enough said. Fandango, who doesn't have any women anymore after SmackDown, could be great and could get him back on an upward trajectory rather than being stuck between two fighting women. It could help him bounce back from this past week's SmackDown where he got the crap kicked out of him by Layla and Summer and then watched them dance. Without him, Fandango pissed off somebody. A couple years ago, he was fighting Jericho at WrestleMania. Now he's getting beaten up by women. Not that I'm being sexist, but that's kind of sad. But that's what it is. As I say, top to bottom, this card has the potential to be my favorite pay-per-view of the year so far. What are your thoughts about Battleground? Put them down in the box below. Now, as I've warned all of you, this last one is not about wrestling. It's about the wrestling community that we are all a part of. And not a lot of people are going to agree with me. So, anybody that doesn't want to listen to the controversial, anybody that doesn't want to hear me rant a little bit, has 5 seconds to turn the video off. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now, this little bit that I'm going to say right here is about DALYXMAN. This is not about DALYXMAN taking his digs at me. This is not about DALYXMAN blocking me on everything and talking shit about me because I said shit about Daniel Bryan. It's not even about anything personal between DALYXMAN and I. This is something else. This is something else. This is not... There's two layers to disagreements in the YWC. There's layer one where it's like, okay, here's, you know, Mark Pearson talking shit about me, Ashton talking shit about me, you know, OTRS talking shit about me. And then there's the bigger picture where things just make the entire wrestling community look bad. In that realm, you have Spinnernet and his e-bagging. You have OTRS and their scam newsletter. You have Sean's View Entertainment pulling out his dick and balls on camera on YouTube when he has young subscribers. And that's the echelon that DALYXMAN has reached now. For those of you that don't know, DALYXMAN is a very, very popular guy here on YouTube. I think he's got like 220,000 subscribers or some stupid bullshit like that. I used to do stuff with DALYXMAN back in the day. We used to do collabs. We used to talk about wrestling a lot until I started disagreeing with him, until I started telling him that Team Hell No was bullshit, and eventually got asked to no longer be part of Wrestling Paradise and was replaced by Preston, and that's fine. Now, talk to him for any more than 2 seconds and he'll tell you that he had a deal with the WWE because he also does musical mashups. So he would do his musical mashups and then he would put them up on YouTube, and WWE's YouTube channel would pick them up and repost for him. So not only was he getting free advertising for his channel, which then turned around and made him money because he's monetized, he also got the WWE Network for free, which didn't really make much of a difference because we all know the big campaign he's on right now about, you know, illegally streaming pay-per-views is okay. But he sits there and he talks nothing but shit, along with Preston, about the WWE, and now he's all angsty and bitter because the WWE saw one of his videos with him talking shit about their product and they nixed his contract. So, in other words, WWE wished DALYXMAN best of luck in his future endeavors. So now, he's being an angry kid, and he's going out of his way to say over-the-top, ridiculously negative shit about the WWE and shocking stuff that is going to get him noticed and look like a badass to the company that fired him, I guess. I really don't know. Which is fine. He's come up with a lot of bullshit. He's shitting on the Cesaro Heyman situation. He's shitting on the WWE Network now that he's not getting it for free. He's shitting on Raw. He's shitting on pay-per-views along with Preston. And it's all very sad until you get to something that's just really, really way too offensive. On a recent Raw review of his, he started talking about Rusev and how Rusev is from Russia, and Russia has Vladimir Putin, and they had the Olympics, and da-da-da, and Putin and the Russians are very, very anti-gay. I should pause here and admit my bias, because say what you will about me, anybody that wants to laugh at this can laugh at this, but I am straight. I do. I'm a guy, I like girls, it's fine. I have an immense amount of friends and family members and loved ones that are from some other spectrum of the LGBT community. So while I am straight, I am an LGBT ally, and I'm very, very in favor of, you know, them having equal rights and against them being, you know, abused and harassed, obviously, and all that sort of thing. So it did strike a chord with me. I'm not going to lie, but it should. Because his new brilliant idea to fix the WWE, which I believe he started off with, oh, it's too bad it's not the Attitude Era, we could just do this. He wants Rusev and Lana to come out on Raw and SmackDown week after week after week and start gay bashing because of their allegiance to Putin and Putin's stance on homosexuals and Russia's stance, especially during the Olympic Games and all that sort of thing, and just come out and gay bash every week. Because this is okay. It's okay, he's a heel, he's supposed to do it, he's gonna get heat. And then his thing is eventually down the line, it's going to lead to a match where he can squash Darren Young. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been in this community now going on 4 years. Pretty sure this is one of the most offensive things I've ever heard of. Because, and I'm gonna lay this, I haven't written any of this down, I'm just off the top of my head here. But first of all, the main reason that Russia's anti-gay stance was in the headlines is because of all the issues surrounding the Olympics. Now, you've got the Olympics, which I'm not particularly a fan of the Olympics. I have my own issues with the Olympics and how they're put together. But supposedly, you get to the Olympics, you get a chance to compete for gold at the Olympics. You are the best at what you do. That means you've trained since you were a kid. That means you've been practicing since you were a kid. That means you've, you know, given up time with your friends, given up time with your family, committed your life to whatever your sport is, whether it's swimming or running or hockey or whatever. Now, if you've spent your entire life dedicated to something and you get to the Olympics, and because the Olympics happen to be in a country that don't like you and you happen to be gay, it is absolutely beyond ridiculous that you should go in there potentially fearing for your life because of who your partner may or may not be while you're trying to reach the pinnacle of your particular activities. So yeah, let's do a storyline in WWE based on that type of hatred, and let's totally downplay the plight and the potential danger to all these athletes that are trying to have the best moment of their life and potentially being denied that because of their particular sexual orientation. So that's offensive. Let's stereotype an entire country as, oh, if you're Russian, you must hate gay people. Let's just stereotype that. And in general, let's, you know, mock an entire demographic of the world that is already mocked on a daily basis. Now everybody's going to say, oh, well, you know, how can you say that? How can you speak out against offensive things in WWE? You were Spaz, you were one of the ones that defended the Paul Bearer segment. Yep, I did. I defended a segment on Raw that mocked a character that was played by an actor, for lack of a better term, that had recently passed away. I defended the mocking of one fictional character named Paul Bearer by CM Punk. What Alex here is advocating is, let's make an entire storyline mocking the, as I've said before, the difficulties and the dangers and the plight and the hardships of an entire real-life demographic. Real-life demographic. And here's the thing, he wants to do this to boost Rusev, so not only is he mocking the entire LGBT/gay community, but he wants to put the message out there to the WWE Universe that being homophobic and coming out and committing hate speech and gay bashing, etc., will get you success. Not only that, from then on, if they did this, Rusev, or the character, or the guy that plays Rusev or whatever, would forever be labeled as a homophobe, as a gay basher, as a hate mongerer, etc., as would his manager Lana, which wouldn't do her any favors either. But more to the point, Darren Young is a talented guy. He is, okay, he has the distinction of being, I think, the first WWE wrestler to ever come out as gay while still being an active member of the roster. And yeah, that is to be commended. He's gone on and he's done good things with it, like going to speak on his own behalf and behalf of the LGBT community at like Be a Star rallies and stuff like that. But they've never made it an issue in the ring, which was something I was always worried that WWE would do when he came out. I was ridiculously worried. Two things: either he was going to go and compete, and the crowd was going to start, you know, with hate speech and maybe call him a fag or call him gay or whatever, which would have been horrible. Or what would have been even worse would have been for WWE to take the easy route and have somebody come along and hate him for being gay, which would be equally offensive. And that's exactly what Alex is advocating here. But not only that, yes, we all know that Darren Young is gay. If they did this, Darren Young would be labeled for the rest of his career as WWE's token gay guy. So, let's mock the entire world's collection of athletes that might happen to be gay. Let's mock the entire LGBT community. Let's stereotype the entire Russian community. Let's ruin the careers of 3 possible superstars before they even get off the bench, just to get a little bit of attention, just to be controversial, and just to be shocking so that Alex can get more views on YouTube. That is vile and vulgar on its face. Not only that, but if you believe Facebook and if you believe other things like Facebook, Alex is also a teacher, so how much of this hateful homophobia, hate-mongering bullshit is he teaching to the youth of America? Oh yes, I am done with this. Anyways, I've been Spaz. This has definitely been a clusterfuck. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all my conversations going, other than the Alex bullshit. Tell me what you guys think of what's going on in current WWE right now. Don't be a stranger, I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am definitely tagging out. Bye, guys.